For Off the Block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by Lindenwood men's volleyball head coach Kris Dorn after his team pulled off a big upset this afternoon, knocking off number 8 Loyola in 4 games. And Coach, how would you assess your team's performance tonight?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Vinny. We are so proud of our guys tonight. This was the most relaxed, the most focused. We've been talking about grit and kind of being able to push through obstacles, and this is the best team performance that we've had this season. And you'll probably get to it later. We've had a lot of great sets this season, but not a lot of great matches. And this is, I think, the best that they have performed, whether we were up or down, whatever kind of storm we had to ride through, they really put together and kept level heads.
Yeah,
so it was wonderful for us, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about that a little bit. Throughout the season, you guys have had your moments, but it just seemed like today you were able to put together. What was that biggest difference that allowed you guys to be consistent today as opposed to earlier in the season?
That's a great question, and if I had the magic answer, I would write a book. But I will say, I think we've had a lot of great battles, but we have, we kind of let ourselves believe amiss that when we hit 20 points, that we got nervous and we started to get, our shoulders would tighten up and our legs would kind of lock and, we couldn't push through to the finish. And on paper, that was sometimes true, but then we kind of started to believe it. And I think that we've been fighting that enough now, and the guys have been buying in, like, you know what, no, we can do this. We've taken sets off the best teams in the nation, which means that we can take, matches. And so I think they're really starting to believe and starting to come through with that. And
Coach, you look at the blocks for you guys tonight, 13 blocks in the victory, and throughout the season your block has been pretty strong. What made it so effective today?
I think we really emphasized a couple things yesterday in practice. And, you never know as a coach if your practices are going to transfer. So please understand, I'm not patting myself on the back by saying this. I'm thrilled that they took something and grabbed onto it. And that was a couple of things was the spacing from the net. In some of our previous matches, we do well moving laterally, but then we get a little bit tight with our chest to the net and not be able to penetrate as well. And tonight, kudos to both for our middles and our pins as well. I really felt like the chest distance was good. We got good penetration. And even the moments where we were a little bit too high, we still sealed the net and took away a lot of court. And honestly, our libero and some other guys just came in big tonight and filled in those holes as well. So.
Yeah, well, I do want to ask you about your presence at the front of the net. You have a freshman, and Sam Schneider, who really has been putting up a big block this season, among the nation's leaders in blocks. Have you been surprised how well he's played in terms of the blocking game as a freshman?
Yeah, and not surprised is we didn't know we had it in him. I think that's why we recruited him. We fell in love with his personality and his heart and his work ethic and obviously his skill. We just didn't expect to see it this early. And so I think the timing has been a surprise, and just how consistent he's been. Because even in the early matches, I think he was one of our kill leaders as far as percentages and number of touches and just getting up and being available. So that's been certainly a great and consistent presence from him.
And Coach, we talked about the medals, but I do want to ask you about your pins in particular, the performance of Blake Copout. You look at his numbers, the last 3 matches, double-digit kills. Tonight led you guys with 17 kills. What has he been able to do in the last couple of games that's helped him be so successful offensively?
I'd say control is a big thing, and shot selection is another. And, we've got 2 opposites right now who just can hammer the snot out of the ball, but don't, as a volleyball player, you don't always want to do that. And so I think that the selection of shots, when to go high and flat off the hands, when to kind of what we call recycle the ball, and put it gently into the block so we kind of get another 3 contacts out of it, when to tip over the block, when to go for that really hard inside shot, So I think shot selection and control has played a huge part in that, and he's really been making mature decisions.
Yeah. Coach, you look at how your season has progressed. Obviously you started out losing the first 13 matches, and we've seen teams before. When they struggle like that, that second half of the season just seems to, continues to trend. But the last couple of weeks, you guys have 2 wins. What does that say about your team that even though they start 0-13, they're continuing to battle, and now they're getting some wins?
Yeah, it's well. First, I'm not going to lie and tell you it hasn't been a long season.
Yeah.
I think it took its toll on all of us. I think it started out and we had a lot of, close 5-set matches, and, we were kind of still, our spirits were alive, and we were like, yeah, we're right there. We're right there. We can just push over the edge. And then we did hit a turning point, which kind of we hit rock bottom in one of our matches. And I won't tell you which one, but we kind of had a big. We need to all look in the mirror right now, and see what we're doing, and are we still engaged? And I agree with you. I think it's a testament to the heart of these guys, and how they pulled together as a team. That they didn't let that define our season. They didn't let that define us, and they didn't let that define our team identity. And that's so easy as competitors just kind of fall into that rut. And we're seeing different types of fight, and we're seeing different types of mental toughness than we've seen all year. So.
All right, Coach, and final question, we'll let you go on this. You look at the conference picture right now, obviously you guys are now really have a good chance to possibly get into the MIVA tournament. 5 conference matches left for you. What do you guys have to do in those final 5 matches to be able to secure a spot in the conference tournament?
We like our matchups. Obviously, we have a super tough conference. And so I don't say this out of a cocky manner, but I really do like our matchups and how we're playing right now and how we can kind of massage our defense to fit the different profiles of the teams we have left. So we are looking forward. I think all the guys' heads are up, their spirits are up. Tonight again was kind of a great testament for all of us to hey, we can do this, and we worked really hard, and we did the same things that got us to our great practices. Now we're learning how to kind of put that on the floor together. So I obviously can't tell you game plan by game plan, but I do like how we kind of match up and the things that we learned from the first round.